the analysis portion of The Emperor of Ice Cream. This one was hard for me. It's been hard for me since I first ever read the poem. And as I said at the beginning, I totally didn't get it. I was told what it meant. I didn't see it when people told me. And here I am back at it many years later. So this is what I did. First thing I thought of was like what stands out? What stands out in the poem? And to me, the poem, don't think about the ice cream, just in general. And the poem is very like giving directions. You do this, you do that. It doesn't say you, but take this, let that, get that, do that, ask this. So a lot of directions are being given. There are only 8 lines of the whole poem, and of those 8 lines, 5 of them start with verbs. So 5 of them are that kind of, you do this, you do, I'm giving directions, I'm standing over here, I'm telling people what to do. 5 of them are like that, and 3 of them aren't. And so, especially when something is this small, what stands out, what's different stands out. At least that when I'm looking at it, that's what happens. So that's what I was looking at was, look at this. These are all the same, and these 3 are different. So the different ones, 2 are the same sentence, but 3 of them don't start with verbs. And to me, in my head, those 3 sentences are set in a different tone and maybe even a different volume. So where it's this, you do this, you do that, go over there, do this, let them do that. Those are quieter and more like, in my head, they're more like talking to the person, the speaker is talking to themselves. So you do that, and then this quiet, the only emperor is the emperor of ice cream. Maybe it's an internal thought. Maybe it's an aside to somebody who's there, but they're not being given directions to, or maybe it's an internal thought. So 2 are and then the other one is if her horny feet protrude. And that's almost like to me, that's a permission to be, it's okay. Like this thing is, I'm trying to cover her with that sheet, the one that's like this. It's not working. You know what? That's okay. It's okay. If her feet are showing, it just shows this. So those 3 sentences are done in my head in a different volume, a different tone, with a different purpose. So at one point, if I haven't asked, I think I did, like, does this poem really make sense to me? Do I have this deeper meaning? Do I have any meaning? And the answer really for me is no. And I don't need it to. I'm not obsessed with what does this mean or what am I missing. Just how about what do I got? What do I have instead of what don't I have? And with this poem, besides not talking about the differences, one of the things I have is visions. I have visions. I have images. I have a mental visual of women wearing things of that was the galloping of my dog. A dresser that looks a certain way, a sheet that looks a certain way, flowers wrapped in paper. So I have these images. One of the images I have is of someone eating ice cream. And for me, that someone is a kid. Now I'm going to say, and I might have said it in other places, ice cream's not my favorite. I don't dislike it. I just don't get excited like I see other people getting excited. I would rather eat a piece of cake than ice cream. I would rather eat a cookie than ice cream. And in my head, so I don't know if those 2 are connected, but in my head, somebody's eating ice cream and it's a kid. And I'm trying to find something I don't have it. So in my head, the ice cream is disproportionate to the I can do it with foreshortening. Here's the ice, and then a little bitty head. So it's a kid with a paper crown. It's a boy in my head. It's a little boy with a paper crown on his head, big ol' ice cream. He is loving it. He's sitting on a stool, and the ice cream might be dripping down the cone, might be dripping down his hand, might be all over his face. Doesn't care. Doesn't care. Eating his ice cream, loving his ice cream. That's the visual I get, even though the word emperor is there. Emperor is also lowercase. So just, yeah, so he doesn't care. So I don't know which one I should have done first, but then I wrote down, what do I think of with ice cream? To me, and this connects to the visual I have, to me it's a food of youth. It's hey, let's go get ice cream was a treat for a kid, for me kid, for kids. It's a food of youth. It's rich. It's cold. It's something that can be very simple, a vanilla ice cream cone or a vanilla scoop in a cup, or it can be dressed up. You can put it on top of a banana. You can put caramel on it. You can put nuts on it. You can put whipped cream on it. You can put lots of fruit on it. You can put gummy bears on it. You can dress it up, or very simple. Rich cream. Oh, it's an emotion soother. Now, I don't know if people talked about this all the time with ice cream, but definitely now it is used in stories, in movies, in memes, in pop culture as a go-to emotional soother. I'm having a bad day, I'm gonna eat some ice cream. I don't do that, but I recognize that that's out there. I don't like. Okay, I already said that. So all those things. And remember, I'm doing this. I haven't looked at Wallace Stevens. I haven't looked at the time when he was living. I haven't looked at the time when he wrote this. I haven't looked. The only memory in my head is what I was told when I was either a teenager or a young 20-something of what this poem meant. And so that's a distorted, long ago memory. I haven't looked at anything. So I am bringing my own personal thing, which is, to me, ice cream was a food of youth. It was a treat, and you got all sticky and messy. Also, that now it's thought of as an emotional soother. I put that together with this idea of that lower volume voice that possibly this person is talking to themselves, and the only emperor is the emperor of ice cream. Like there's something happening. I've got to take charge, and then here's my quiet. Ooh. I'm getting emotional. Whew. There's this quiet, emotional part of me that is self-soothing. The only emperor is the emperor of ice cream. Like maybe that means this is like the big thing is whoever's the ruler of the thing that soothes the emotions. That's the real ruler. Or is it maybe that kid in us that had no other care at that moment but that big old ice cream? So those are the two things that come to mind for me, what ice cream means in this poem, and what would make it an emperor, what would make it king, what would make it ruler, what would make it the top. It's an emotional soother at this time of, I have to be in charge, but really inside I'm hurting. If this is a death scene, which it does, I see that now, then yes, stuff has to be done. And at the same time, I'm crumbling. So there's these little voices. And wasn't it glorious when I was a kid? And there wasn't, at that moment when I'm eating ice cream, there was no other concern. There's just me and that ice cream, So, so there's my ideas with the analysis of the Emperor of Ice Cream. I very much feel a stronger connection to this poem. I'm going to stick it into the file of poems that are ones that are my favorites. And I'm so happy I took this journey of discovery, because I went from this makes no sense to I love this. And again, I'm going to say that understanding and making sense is less important from my point of view, where I sit now as a person in my 50s, than having a reaction and a connection and like that emotional swelling that I had when I started talking about the poem. All right, so we're going to move on. I am shocked that this took as many videos. I thought I'd be able to do this one in one video. It was very complex. Poetry can be that way. So I'll see y'all next time. Bye.